Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, hello, happy Saturday. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. I don't really have any updates for you guys, so let's just get into today's story time. I'm gonna bring you guys up close. There we go. By the way, if it sounds like I have a lisp, it does sound like I have a lisp. I do because I have my retainers back in. And I'm gonna be doing another round of Invisalign, so maybe I can take them out for this video. No, it's okay, we'll be fine, we'll be fine. Okay, so for those of you who may be new here, I'm going to do my quick usual little rundown for most of the video. I'll be looking in this direction because my mirror is over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. I do tell these story times in a first person point of view, so if you don't like that, then you can leave.
There's the door. There's the door, bitch!
And these story times are sent in by anonymous people. Okay. Story time about how my best friend did the nasty with my father. Yeah. Like, where's the loyalty? Clearly down the fucking toilet. Okay, so a little background information. I was 27 or 28 whenever this whole situation happened. But we are going to rewind so that way I can give you a little backstory on my bestie, Eden. Now, Eden and I have been best friends since we were literally in diapers. Now, don't get me wrong, this situation was fucking awful to begin with. But I feel like the fact that her and I were basically sisters is what makes it even more disgusting and worse and everything bad under the sun. Anyways, now I was the child who got good-ish grades. She was the one who, of course, always got A's in every class. She's very shy. I'm confrontational because I don't put up with shit. Like, when I say I'm confrontational, y'all. The one time, I think that we were in like 6th or 7th grade, and she was being bullied by this one girl. So while we were at recess, one of the other girls in our friend group had told me about the fact that she was getting bullied by this girl. So I walked my ass over there. I grabbed the hardcover book that this girl was holding. And I mean, like, I snatched that shit out of her hand. And I started beating the living shit out of her with it. She got beat with her own fucking textbook. Shouldn't have been bullying my friend. You know? I don't condone violence. But yeah, you guys get it. At the end of the day, she was like my sister and I do not play about my family. Now, even though I didn't have as good of grades as Eden, I still made sure to work my ass off in school. Like, any classes that I was having trouble in, I was going to a tutor. Which, that all paid off because Eden and I both got into Lane Tech, which is a super competitive public high school. And I mean, like, one of the top in our city. And it's a big deal if you get into this school because there's so many academic requirements that you need to meet. And yeah, so then after that, her and I both ended up going to DePaul University. I majored in finance and Eden majored in accounting. Fast forward, we both graduate with our master's degrees. We love a successful best friend duo. But then after this, her and I kind of separated because we both had similar but still different career paths. So yeah, her and I, we don't speak for, I would say, a long time. Then fast forward, I'm on a business trip that I did not really want to go on, but the company mandated it. And I also was on thin ice for an incident that happened where one of my managers was harassing me and I told HR about it, but he made it seem like I was lying, so I almost got fired. Gotta love men. So yeah, anyways, I'm on this business trip and I sit down at this mini bar. I order a shot of whiskey and then someone comes over and sits right next to me. I immediately recognize that it's Eden. So I'm like, hey Pookie, I haven't seen you in so long. Like, literally since college. And she was like, oh yeah, you know, like, I forgot how we lost touch in the first place. And from there, it felt like we had never stopped talking. Before we both went home from the business trip, I asked her what her phone number was because I wanted to keep in contact with her. Like, I missed her. This was my fucking best friend. So yeah, she gives me her phone number. And that's when I found out that she literally only lived like 4 blocks away from me. So it's crazy to think that we've lived next to each other this whole time, but we've just been so busy with life that we didn't even realize. Anyway, so this is where shit kind of hits the fan. Kind of, not completely, but we're almost there. So the one day I had gotten off work and this was about a month after her and I reconnected. I was cooking dinner for myself because I live alone. And let me just tell you, my mom's a retired chef, so I know how to cook, like, real good. So as I'm cooking, somebody knocks on my door and I had no idea who the fuck it was. And I was kind of annoyed because I low-key had a bad day that day, but I opened the door and it was my mom and my dad, and I hadn't talked to them in a little bit because I was so busy with work. So they just came over and basically decided to spend the night. My dad fell asleep on the couch while my mom and I were just talking in the kitchen. And you know, she's asking me the usual, how's work? What have you been up to? I tell her everything's going good, and then I mentioned that I ran into Eden. And then my mom's like, oh my gosh, you know, like we haven't seen or spoken to her in a while. And then my mom tells me that she went on to Eden's Facebook not too long ago and she found out that she was married. And in my brain, I'm like, hold up, something is not right. Because when I saw her on our business trip, Shorty didn't have a wedding ring on. And there was no mention of getting married or a husband. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. But I just was like, you know what, whatever. It's her life, you know? Maybe she's wants to keep that private. I don't fucking know. But then something else that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was whenever I mentioned Eden's name, my dad woke dead up out of his sleep, got up and was like asking questions about her. Like, y'all, I'm talking, this man literally went, ran over to the fucking kitchen and started talking to us. He was like, oh my gosh, Eden's back? When was the last time that you saw her? How's she doing? Where's she living? You know, all those questions. Now looking back at it, he was a little bit too enthusiastic about her being back in my life. But at the time, I'm just like, oh shit, you know, like we grew up together. This is basically like one of his daughters. Ugh. Disgusting. So me being the thoughtful, family-oriented person that I am, I decide that I should book dinner reservations for all of us. It would be like one big family get together. It was gonna be my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, Eden and her man, and then me. Now, one thing about me is when I go somewhere and I get dressed up, I dress to impress because I want to make a good impression. And let me tell you, I'd rather be dressed up than dressed down. Now, because I had never met Eden's husband before, I didn't want to give off the wrong impression that maybe I was dressing too cute, you know, if that makes sense. Like, I just didn't want to give off the impression that like, hey, I want your man to look at me. So I put on this Prada dress that one of my friends gave to me, and I put on some boots, and then I made my way to dinner. And y'all, when I walked in there and I saw her husband, bitch, this man was exactly my type. He had tan skin, long dreads, he knew how to style them, perfect teeth, and knew how to dress. I'm talking 20 out of 10 chef's fucking kiss. Yeah. Now, if y'all are thinking this is one of those things where I fucked her boyfriend and she fucked my dad to get back at me, it's not. I have too much fucking... my morals are too high for that, okay? Anyway, so I got there before my family. And so me, Eden, and Omari, her man, we're all just talking, and the conversation was flowing really good. Not a single awkward moment. And y'all, I'm sorry, but like, I just have to say it. A man that's respectful and knows how to talk to people too, like he just kept ticking all my boxes. So yeah, as y'all can tell, I was obviously into him, okay? But like I said, that's my bestie's husband. I will not do that shit. Chicks before dicks, bros before hoes. That's the type of shit that I'm on. Now, when my mom, my dad, my siblings all got there, baby, that shit was written in the fucking stars. My mom liked him. My sisters liked him. My brother was vibing with him. But my dad hated him. Like, hated him, okay? For literally no reason. Like, he went up to my dad and he was like, oh, hello. It's nice to meet you, sir. Your daughter was telling me about you and your business. I really admire the work that you do. And my dad, being weird as fuck, he's like, boy, what my daughter spouts off about me is none of your goddamn business. And the whole table went silent. And everybody's just sitting there looking at each other awkwardly because what's up with the theatrics, okay? Like, why are you being so dramatic? So other than that, dinner was a success. Everybody had a great time. Fast forward to about a month after this. It was July, a month before my birth month. Because yes, Pookie, we do celebrate the whole month that I was born. Don't play with me. And I bought myself a dog. She was a pit bull. And I named her Rosie because she was a brown red-nosed pit bull. Okay, I feel like only certain people will remember this, but y'all, whenever I hear red nose, it just makes me think of the song Red Nose by Gemini. Is that what it's called? Okay, back to the story. So I was at my friend Val's house And let me tell you, this girl's name matches her to a T, because when I think of Valentine's Day, I think of sweet, cutesy things, and she is literally that. She is the biggest sweetheart I've ever met, and shorty's rich as fuck. Like, daddy's fucking money, successful business owner. Like, you can't tell this girl shit. Anyway, so I'm with Eden and Val's pool with a few of our other friends and my sister Jasmine. And you know, I'm on the little floaty raft and I look at Eden and I'm like, girl, when did you get married? Because I didn't see no wedding ring a few months ago on that business trip. And like I said, y'all, I'm not shy, so I asked her straight up, like, Pookie, if you were cheating on your man, just say that, okay? Okay.
Calm down. Look, I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop.
So then she tells me, she's like, so then she goes, well, I was actually dating Omari in college and then he proposed after we graduated, which sounded cute. It did, until I realized what the fuck she said didn't make any sense at all. Because she literally was a loner in college. This bitch did not hang out with anybody except for me. Like, she hated parties. And then I'm also thinking, if he proposed to you when y'all got out of college, wouldn't you have had the ring on when we were at the bar that day? The whole thing just didn't make no fucking sense. But I didn't question it. Not my business. You know, guys, I'm not gonna lie. When we have friends and stuff like that, if they don't want to tell you about a situation, that's different. But if you know that they're lying about a situation, I feel like it's a little bit weird, because it's like, say if I don't want to tell my friend about something, I'm gonna be like, you know, oh, I don't really want to talk about that right now. But if I sit there and just straight up lie to them about a situation, it just really makes you think in your head, like, yeah, it's none of my business, but lying about it to me is weird. I don't know. I used to be like that whenever I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I've just realized that part of maturing and growing up is, if you don't want to talk about something with somebody, don't lie about it. Literally tell them, I don't want to talk about that right now. And if they keep pressing you about it, that's when you look at them and you're like, did I not just say I didn't want to talk about it? Because they'll be like, oh, and then it's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. So on to the next conversation. Anyway, so, you know, we're sitting there talking about plans for my birthday, singing, drinking, dancing, being all silly. And then there's a knock on Val's door. And when she got out of the pool to answer it, it was my dad. He said that he was dropping off something for Eden to celebrate her being back. I mean, to be honest, that didn't make much sense to me, because why didn't you just give it to her during dinner that one night? Because at that point, he had known that she'd been back for a few days. But I'm gonna be honest, y'all, I was really one of those people who would mind my business. Like, in my head, I'm thinking, well, you know what? Maybe it's just a surprise that he only wants her to see, which now looking back at it is even weirder. But yeah, so I go home after this, and Eden and Omari decided to drop by because Eden needed help on this analysis. She basically needed to show how much she sold in the company in the past month. And yeah, I guess Omari was there for moral support, which I did not mind, having a fine ass man like himself in my house. So we're working on this, and I'm not gonna lie, this shit starts to make my head hurt. So I decide to take a nap on my couch, and I wake up to Rosie barking at the door. And during this time, Omari and Eden are arguing, and I was just so fucking disoriented, so I didn't know who to pay attention to first. But then I remembered, not my business, let me go answer my fucking door. So I put on my house shoes, I walk over to the door, and lo and behold, it's my dad. And I was annoyed, and I asked him why the fuck he was here, because I had been seeing way too much of my dad lately. Okay, he was coming over way too much unannounced, and he was like, oh, I wanted to talk to Eden. And I'm sitting here like, bitch, how the fuck do you even know she's here? Like, if she wasn't here, were you just gonna sit and wait for me to invite her over one day? Weird. I didn't say any of this because I was too disoriented. I was just like, all right, what the fuck ever. Go do what you need to do, please. So I go, I lay back on the couch, I fall asleep again. Omari and Eden finally stopped arguing, and that's whenever Omari went and he took a nap on the other couch, and we were out for like the next 2 hours. So at around 2:15 at night, both of us wake up. And the way that you come in my house, it's like when you first walk in, you see the stairs on the right, and then there's the living room, and then there's double doors, like glass double doors, separating the living room from the kitchen. Now, Omari and I didn't just wake up because it was time to wake up. No, we heard what sounded like forks and knives moving around in the kitchen and like clinking together, like clink, 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 clink. Yeah. So we look at each other and we start getting up, and like all people who are nosy, Now that I think about it, I'm not nosy, it's my fucking house. So no, actually, like a responsible homeowner, I go to my kitchen and see what the fuck is going on. And there this was, right on the fucking counter. My counter. My best friend and my dad doing the nasty in missionary on my counter. On my counter. I scream, they scream, we all scream for ice cream. No, I'm fucking kidding. We're all screaming. They pull away from each other, but it didn't make it any better because then I could see my dad's junk and he had an erection. It was just really bad, guys. Like really fucking nasty. And then Eden like has her top off. I don't know how they thought this was a good idea to do this in the same house with us. So after what's going on finally registers in my brain, I start going in on Eden. I'm cussing her out, calling her a whore, a bitch, a skank, everything you can think of. And then we start fighting. And I told y'all that I was a fighter. So as you could imagine, I beat that ass. Yes, I did. Like, she had a busted lip. She has a scar under her eye, bruises all over the place. Y'all, I even knocked out this bitch's permanent retainer. But you know what? When you want to fuck your best friend's dad, that's the price that you gotta pay, I guess. Oh, and then when you want to fuck other people's wives, you're also gonna pay a price because Omari, he really messed my dad up. Like, my dad went to the hospital afterwards, and yeah, it was a whole big thing. After this, obviously, Omari divorced Eden. I told my mom divorced my dad, which as she should. And then this was whenever Eden tells everybody that she's pregnant, or that she was pregnant with my dad's baby. And when I fought her, she lost the baby. She pressed charges on me, and surprisingly, I only spent 1 day in jail, maybe 2. And now that I'm thinking about it, honestly, it makes sense why my dad kept coming over. I mean, besides the fact that he wanted to do the nasty with her, he was also trying to talk her out of having it. He wanted her to get an abortion, she didn't want to. But yeah, guys, Omari and I actually got a happy ass ending. He got a job at one of my mom's shops. We're married now. We have a big ass house. And we have a baby boy on the way. I'm currently 6 months pregnant, and when I tell y'all, Omari is literally the best husband I could have ever asked for. He's loyal, he's sweet, he takes me on dates. And yeah, our friends, they all blocked Eden. Obviously, my family shunned her. Even my grandma, which is a surprise because my grandma is all about forgiveness. But yeah, Karma's a bitch, and we love her to death. And yeah, we're planning on naming our baby Amir. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know whenever I post my next video, make sure to click that bell. And if you guys want to send in your anonymous story time, or you want to know how to send in your anonymous story time, you can't send in your anonymous story time because the link is broken. So go to my Instagram and DM me. But other than that, I love you guys, and I will see you next time with a new story time.